This is Mohammed. He earns $14.25 an hour, but he's on a 0 hours contract, and last week he got 0 hours. So tonight we asked the Employment Minister what he's going to do about it.
The science is absolutely clear-cut. Vaccines work. So why are people still refusing to vaccinate their children, and are they putting your kids at risk? Tonight, we have the facts.
And I'm in Christchurch with Luke. When he was 4, he made me this sign. He's 6 now, and he's made me another one.
Campbell Live, driven by Mazda.
Go, Luke and his sign. That's a happy story. We've also got some beautiful kindness coming up tonight. Thank you for joining us. Would you mind just kindly waiting there? Thank you. We may speak to you and we may not. Could you just wait? Just might be back and we might not. Now, we wouldn't treat you like that because we're really grateful to have you. But in a way, that's what life on a 0 hours contract can be like. You're there, you're ready, but what you've signed up for may not come. We may just bugger off like this and actually not talk to you at all. Now, it's not casual work. You're contracted to be available. You can't go elsewhere. You're stuck there. We're looking at 0 hours. Anna Burns-Francis, I'm off, with people living on it.
They're the hard-working Kiwis keeping our fast food and hospitality industry afloat.
I am a beverage waiter and I'm on a 0 hour contract.
You have to look after yourself. You can't survive on $200 or $300 of money a week.
Yeah, we deserve more. Give them the hours that they're fighting for.
The 0 hours just sucks, man.
They're employed, but they're not guaranteed any work. It's a 0 hours contract. And for the second week in a row, Mohammed's been given 0 hours work at Burger King.
It's rubbish. Only $14.25 per hour. You can't survive on it. Nobody would like to work just for like 2 hours.
So what does the Workplace Relations Minister Michael Woodhouse think of a 0 hours contract?
Of course, we can legislate for all the rules, but we can't legislate for good employer practice. And actually, I think this is bad for the organisation as well. It must take an enormous amount of time, effort and cost.
Would the minister work on a 0 hours contract?
Well, I have worked on casual employment agreements in the past as a university student, someone returning to New Zealand who was looking for, after my OE, looking for longer term work. So casual employment agreements are an important part of the makeup of our workplace.
But casual contracts are not 0 hour contracts, which tie workers like Mohammed into full-time availability. When Mohammed doesn't get offered a shift, he doesn't work and he doesn't get paid.
It's really hard. You have to ask people, you have to borrow some money, you have to get loans.
Mr. Woodhouse's solution? Take some help from the government, if you can get it.
It may be possible that he has income support opportunities available to him from work and income. Obviously, everybody's situation is different.
The problem is you've got the 2 week stand down if you go into a benefit.
Well, I'm not an expert on the details of that, but I am advised that there are supports available for people like Mohammed.
There's a stand-down period for work and income assistance, so that wouldn't really help Mohammed. Mr. Woodhouse's other solution? Get a new job.
We have a growing job market, and I'm sure good people like Mohammed will be able to take advantage of that.
If only it was that easy.
People say it's easy to find a job, but it's not easy. It's hard, but the same company will, like the rest of the company will do the same thing. So we need to stop this.
I like the way you work it, no diggity. I gotta bag it up.
Mr. Woodhouse is promising changes to employment law this year, but will that include scrapping 0 hours?
I'm quite happy to introduce legislation into the House in the middle of the year that would prohibit the worst excesses of the practices that we'll find.
So what does Mohammed's employer, Burger King, have to say?
Anna Burns-Francis reporting. Just a couple of things. I noticed the Minister talk about the fact he did casual work when he was at university. We all did, Minister, but it's not the same thing. 0 hours isn't the same thing as casual. Casual is just work you can pick up as you get it. 0 hours means you are contracted to be available, but you might not necessarily get work. He talks about getting rid of the worst excesses. We do hope that includes 0 hours. Now, we invited Burger King to respond. We took the red chair to Burger King's head office there. It's looking magnificent. I think it goes very nicely with their blue. Look at that, lovely. And someone from the restaurant group came out to give us a statement. It said we're currently in negotiations with the Unite Union and it would be inappropriate for us to comment at that time. They are in negotiations with the union and that is good. It was signed by somebody called Contact Us at Burger King. Contact Us is an excellent name for a person doing that kind of work. So the Ministry of Labour is set to review 0-hour contracts. What does the Prime Minister think of them? John Selwood asked him.
Is that review an acknowledgement that there is a skewing, if you like, in favour of the employer or a disadvantage to the employee?
Well, I think it's a recognition that we have seen some signs of practices that we believe are not A, the intention of flexibility in the workforce, and B, fair on those particular employees. So at the end of the day, we want to make sure there's flexibility there, but we certainly don't want to allow a situation where employees are ripped off or exploited, and that's a risk with 0-hour contracts.
And just on that, is the possibility of no more 0-hour contracts a probability, a possibility, a thought?
Simply don't know. The review's going to take place and come back and give advice to the Cabinet on it.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
So the Minister and the Prime Minister looking at it and the review, that is good. When we do stories on empty lunchboxes, we're often struck by the fact that children involved have working parents, low-income families, casual jobs, part-time jobs and lately 0 hours workers. If you're getting 0 hours or not many more than 0, how do you fill a school lunchbox? Kids Can help put food in schools. And as a result of our story last week and your generosity, Kids Can has more money to do that with. Hooray! Here's Tristram with some wonderful people.